broadcasting, whether in delivering news, editorial, and expressing opinion. Considering the testimonies given and documents submitted, the committee shall determine whether the grantee can continue enjoying the privilege under this franchise. Sa ating mga kasamahan sa Kongreso, ang ating mga bisita at mga manonood ng FB page ng House of Representatives, ang pagdinig na ito ay pagtungkol sa prangkisa ng Suara Sug Media Corporation. Papakinggan po natin ang bawat upang bigyan ng linaw ang isyung pinagkakaloob ng Estado sa prebyong Suara Sug Media Corporation. Kaakibat sa prebyong ito ay ang pananagutan na inatang sa ating grantee. It cannot exercise the privilege with impunity and invoke press freedom as pretext for information that may mislead the public. Nais kong bigyan ng diin na ang isyong ito ay hindi tungkol sa kalayaan ng pamamahayag o ang malayang pagpapahayag. Ito ay ang malagang pagsusuri kung narapat ipagpatuloy ng Suara Sug Media Corporation bilang isang grantee. Kami po ay kaisa ng bayan sa pagpapalahad ng katotohanan at sumusunod ito kami sa tamang proseso ng pandinig nito. Maraming salamat sa inyo. Before we may proceed, may direct the committee secretary to acknowledge the members in attendance and resource persons with us today. Comsec.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In today's meeting, we have the following members in attendance. We have the Vice Chairperson, Representative Johnny T. Pimentel, Representative Jervil Luistro, Representative Stella Luz Kimbo, Representative Robert Ace Barbers, Representative Joseph Stephen Paduano, Representative David J.J. Suarez, Representative Ramon Rodrigo Gutierrez, Representative Alan T., Representative Agustina Dominique Pancho. We also have Representative Alfred de los Santos, Representative Francisco Jose Matugas, Representative Toby Chanco, Representative Alfred, Representative Faustino Inodi, Representative Ricardo Cruz Jr., Representative Dan Fernandez, Representative Christian Navia, Representative Romeo Acob, and Representative Antonio Ferrer.
Resource persons. For the resource persons.
For our resource person from KBP, we have Attorney Rudolph Steve Hularbal. From the MTRCD, we have Attorney Cesar Pareja. From the MTRCB, we have Attorney Abubakar Johari and Mr. Bobby Diciembre from NTRCB as well. We have from NTC, the Deputy Commissioner Alvin Blanco. From SEC, we have the General Counsel, Attorney Ronald Padilla and Attorney Gerard Del Rosario. And with them, we have Attorney Mazer Martin Tarnell. From the SMNI, we have Attorney Mark Tolentino, Attorney Rolex Suplico, Ms. Lorraine Badoy, and Mr. Jeffrey Celis. Oh, may we also recognize Honorable Lex Anthony Collada, a member of the committee. And we also have from NTC, Attorney Andy Castillar. And also we invited again Attorney Rico Domingo from the MAD. Thank you. Thank you.
David J.J. Juarez. Private question.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Mr. Chair, I just want to start off from where we ended last hearing with regards to the news that Jeffrey Celis mentioned in their program. Mr. Celis, are you with us today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. When we ended our hearing last week, the statements I released was that we were treading in very dangerous grounds as the source, the resource person mentioned that his source emanated from the Senate. And I felt that it was important for us to determine who that source was because it was also determined in last hearing that the statements issued by Mr. Celis in his program was false. And if indeed it is from the Senate, interparliamentary relations between the House and the Senate are now put in question. Because parang ang lumalabas, may nagli-leak ng hindi makatotohanang balita mula sa Senado patungkol sa House of Representatives. At nung December 3, if I may be allowed, Mr. Chair, Senate President Subiri issued a statement. And if I may be allowed to read, he stated, "I have no knowledge whatsoever of anyone from the Senate leaking information to any reporter on any House matter. Until the concerned resource speaker names a Senate employee, there is no reason to believe that these allegations are anything more than intrigues being sown to create controversy and fake news. We respect interparliamentary courtesy and would not want to put a rift in the strong partnership that we have with the House, with the leadership and the members of the House. I would suggest that the House continue their investigation until they get to the bottom of this accusation and press for the concerned person to reveal the name of their alleged source in the Senate. Otherwise, the House can cite them in contempt. If they can prove it's an employee of the Senate, then we will initiate disciplinary action on those involved." Quote unquote from Senate President Miguel Subiri. So now, Mr. Celis, I would just like to reiterate my question. The source, please.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of this committee, may I be allowed, please, to manifest a statement of clarification before I proceed to answer the question of Honorable Congressman J.J. Suarez, because I believe that the statement that I am going to make as an opening premise to the answer that I should be giving to the Honorable Congressman will settle everything and clarify before the nation a very important statement that I want to make. Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed, please?
Before I allow you, I'd like to remind everyone that your oath
Yes.
has been administered in the last session, and this it will continue up to today.
Yeah.
So you're under oath.
Yeah.
So lahat po sabihin po natin ay ang katotohanan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I proceed, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Honorable ako.
meron pong katanungan si Honorable Suarez, di po ba?
Opo.
Hindi ba dapat sagutin lang ng resource person or witness yung katanungan muna
Okay.
bago siya mag-explain? Mr. Chair?
Thank you for the reminder, Congressman Hakop, sir. And to the members of this committee, I feel, and it is my right to state before this committee and the August Chamber of Congress, that this committee is not above the law. No one in government is above the law. We are a government of laws. I am protected under the Soto law. I have the constitutional right. I requested per record that I may be given competent advice and assistance of a legal counsel, and such right is guaranteed by the Constitution. And such right is also stipulated clearly in Section 12 of the Governing House rules pertaining to committee hearing and conduct of investigation. And even if I am not in a court trial, the right to seek out counsel advice and assistance from a counsel is a part of principle of due process, a principle guaranteed by the Constitution. And I believe before I answer any further question, may I manifest respectfully and humbly before this committee that all the statements, even after under oath, in the absence of competent legal advice and assistance previously, may be granted to be stricken off the record because I believe my constitutional rights were
Mr. Chairman,
violated.
point of order. The answer manifestation of Mr. Sellers is out of order. He is out of order because you cannot dictate in this house and you cannot move. Only members of you ask members of this house.
Yes, I am explaining, sir.
No,
I am not moving.
no, your manifestation is out of order.
I am
Do
requesting.
not lecture
No, I am
about
not
the rules
lecturing.
of this
I am
committee.
standing up for my right.
Mr.
I am standing up for my right.
Remember, we might cite you in contempt.
And so be it,
Kyle,
Your Honor.
You challenge us?
Yes,
Sorry.
if
What's
that
the
will
question,
be
Mr.
sin in the
Chairman?
nation na walang karapatan ang mga invited guests dito na magpahayag, Your Honor, with due respect to you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chair,
I'm out of order. And what's the position of the chair?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Chair,
sandali lang po.
Mr. Chairman.
Eric,
may I explain why
yes, the Honorable Akop is recognized and I understand yung sinasabi po ni ng ating mga ng ating bisita. Pero alam po ninyo, kung ang ginagamit niyo po ay yung hearing nung huli at wala kayong representasyon, hindi po namin kasalanan. Kasalanan po ng mga abogado ng SMNI dahil sila mismo on record ang nagsabi na they are here to represent SMNI and not the anchors because dumistansya nga ho sila. Ang sabi nila, hindi po namin trabaho ang bigyan ng representasyon ang angkor. That's why nung humingi po kayo, ang pinaliwanag ko, hindi ho pwede sila magdepensa sa inyo. Dapat ho humingi kayo ng iba. Dahil hindi ho pwede sila ang magdepensa because they are on record. Under oath, ang sabi nila, kami abogado ng SMNI at hindi kami abogado ng mga angkor. Klaro po yan, Kyrie.
Your Honor, if I may please.
You cannot. You're not allowed. I'm going, yes.
to explain why I cite him out of order. Because he manifested that the previous records should be taken out of records, and as resource person, they are not allowed. For
Your
that.
Honor, I am
Please,
going to be
I am
detained
still
in this
taking-
chamber and I
I
am
am-
submitting myself before the country in protest.
Mr. Chair,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, point of order.
Mr. Chair,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Order.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay. Pauline. Okay. There's a point of order, the Honorable Dan Fernandez. The Honorable Dan.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman. Out of order is all about your manifestation to straighten out. Patapusin mo ako.
The Honorable.
Huwag ka may bastos. Patapusin mo ako. Mr. Chairman, I will just like to correct. I am not stopping him to issue statement. What I'm saying is, and what I'm pointing out of order is the manifestation that the previous statement, the previous record should be taken out of order.
Mr. Chairman, Mr.
He's
Chairman.
not allowed to do it.
Point of order.
Honorable Dan Fernandez, for the point of order.
May we remind the resource speakers and the members of this committee to observe the proper decorum.
Correct.
If the chairman acknowledge a certain personality, let him speak and
Yes.
don't interrupt the
Correct.
the members of this committee while the
Eto na.
members be given the right to speak.
Nagkakaano ba na
Mr.
kanina?
Chair.
Honorable
Actually, mga
Fernandez.
kababayan ko, nagtatalo lang naman sila dito regarding doon sa
Mr. Celis,
sa gustong
please
mangyari
be
nito
reminded that
ni
in
ano
this
ni
committee and this house, we
yung
have
gustong
rules
mangyari
to
ng mga
follow.
congressman na magsalita
Hindi po ba namin
si
sinusunod
Ka
yung mga
Eric kung sino ba talaga yung
Matanong
resources
po ako.
niya. The problem, mga kababayan ko, ayaw banggitin ni Ka Eric talaga. It's either totoo ba yung sinasabi ni Ka Eric, yung reliable sources niya, kasi yun ang gustong masawata netong mga taga-Congress, mga kababayan ko. Kung talagang merong ganyan sa loob ng Kongreso, ay mahirap yan. Meron tayong NPA sa loob. Ngayon, mga kababayan ko, ang gustong malaman nito, kung totoo ba yung sinasabi ni Ka Eric sa SMNI. But the real problem, mga kababayan ko, ayaw po umamin ni Ka Eric at ayaw niya ilaglag yung tao na yun. And then now, ngayon, mga kababayan, ginigisa po si Ka Eric. Ang nangyari dito, panoorin nyo kung paano ma-contempt itong si Ka Eric, mga kababayan, at ano yung sinabi niya.
I was raising a point of order earlier, but
I'm
Congressman
sorry, I
Heto-
didn't hear you that.
It's okay,
My
Mr.
apologies.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman, kasi gusto ko lang i-refresh yung memory ng ating resource person na no one is curtailing your right. In fact, kaya ka nga nandito, binibigyan ka ng panahon, ng oras para magsalita. But do not play to the crowd saying that your rights are violated in this committee. It's not. Tayo ay nasa demokrasya, di ba? I believe you were a former member of the NPA. Di ba? And alam mo kung ano yung pinaglalaban natin dito, di ba? So, never, ever insult the committee, much more any of the members of this committee. Kasi medyo yun ang affront. Yun ang affront sa amin. And do not challenge us to do what we feel is right to do to you because you might not like it. I am just
Please don't forget to like this live streaming,
remind you
mga
of that,
kababayan
Mr. Chair.
ko.
Thank you.
The Honorable Ace Barbers. Any
Mr.
other
Chair.
member that would like to speak?
I believe that this is an aid or an inquiry in aid of legislation, and resource persons should be reminded that they should observe proper decorum. I'd just like to remind all the resource persons that under Section 11, this inquiry, or for that matter, Congress has the power to contempt. The committee may punish any person for contempt by a vote of
ayan na.
2/3.
Yan ang sinasabi ko kung bakit makukontempt si Ka Eric. Marami nagsasabi,
And there are
pinag-ginigipit si
6
Ka Eric.
grounds
Hindi
for
ginigipit si Ka
contempt.
Eric. Tingin bastos si Ka Eric
One
sa
of which
Congress.
is letter E, acting in a disrespectful manner towards any member of the committee or any misbehavior in the presence of the committee. So, Mr. Chair, we do not want to cite a resource person for contempt. Kaya nakikiusap kami sa iyo, Ka Eric.
Susunod si
Comprende.
Roque. Antayin nyo.
Please respect this committee and observe proper decorum. Nasa rules po natin na you
Magandang
cannot
gabi po sa
speak
lahat, mga kababayan. Please don't forget to like this
if
live
you are
streaming.
not
Marami tayo ngayon
recognized
dito.
by the chair. Actually, naka-strike 1 na po kayo, Ka Eric. Kanina, you were not recognized by the chair but you kept on talking. So again, may I advise Ka Eric, we are not suppressing your rights, but also respect this committee and observe proper decorum.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, if I may continue.
There was a question raised by the Honorable Suarez. Alam po ninyo kay Rick, kung meron po kayong karapatan, may karapatan din pong committee. Lahat po tayo may karapatan dito. So ang tanong ho, yes or no? May tanong ho si Congressman J.J. Suarez, huwag na ho natin pahabain. Yes or no?
I will refuse to answer, Your Honors, not because I disrespect this committee, but I will invoke my right guaranteed by the Constitution because I believe this committee cannot be above the law, especially the Constitution. Mr.
Can I just
Honorable
raise,
J.J. Suarez.
Yes. What right is that you are invoking, Mr. Celis?
The Bill of Rights. The Bill of Rights guarantees me for the guarantee of due process and even the Soto law and even the House rules
Yes.
constitutionally guaranteed rights, Your Honor, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman, cannot
Mr.
be violated by any branch of the government.
Yari ka ngayon,
may
Sotoro
katanungan.
ka pa nalalaman, ha?
Is that
Mr.
clear?
Mr.
Alam po ninyo, Kyrick, meron ba kayong kasamang abogado na yun?
May I answer?
Opo.
That's why I am requesting since last hearing that I may be given the counsel. Now,
Alam po
I will
ninyo,
hire,
alam niyo, if you keep going back last year, ang tanong ko na yun.
I will hire
Go.
Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico as my personal choice
Okay.
to do
So,
legal counsel.
everything
for me.
that you say now is guided by your lawyer, who's
Yes.
also here.
Not yet, sir, because they are not, Mr. Chairman, permitted and granted authority to be recognized as my legal counsel. That's why I'm requesting. I'm hiring today, this afternoon, Attorney Mark Tolentino and Attorney Rolex Soplico.
Are the lawyers accepting that mandate? Because you remember, in the last hearing, you manifested that you are not representing Eric and the anchors because of the disclaimer issue. Are you accepting?
I'm accepting, Your Honor.
Attorney Rolex Suplico.
I am accepting, Your Honor.
Okay, so thank you very much. So everything that will be said, no ka Eric, may abogado na po kayo. Yes or no?
May I request again,
Yes.
Congressman Honorable J.G. Suarez to rephrase the
Mr. Chair.
question,
Ayun.
please.
Now, with the presence of your lawyer, it's just a little bit ironic that in the past few days you've been on air talking about the hearing, talking about your opinions on about the hearing, and together with Attorney Mark Tolentino, I think there was a few episodes na magkasama pa kayong dalawa. So you're very vocal and you're very opinionated about your position. And last hearing, I just want to remind you, you apologized to the committee because the statements that you issued in your
Yun, papasok to ngayon.
show kasama ang bayan. Tama po ba yun?
Kasi
Yes,
magiging
sir.
reliable yung
Kasama ang
sinasabi mo, make sure, pag
Humingi
kwento,
ka man ng
barbero, yari ka.
paumanhin dahil yung sinabi mong
Yari pati SMNI
1.8
ngayon
billion
dito, damay
ay
tol
walang
pati
katotohanan.
prangkisa.
Inamin nyo yun. Ngayon, sinabi mo, ang source mo ay galing sa Kongreso. Sinabi ko mula sa House of Representatives, ang sabi nyo po ay hindi po House. Dalawa po yung House, Congress at Senate. Sinabi nyo, kinonfirm nyo na lalaki na taga-Senado. Ngayon po, naglabas na po ng statement, mismong Senate President na ang nagsasabi, hindi na ito nanggagaling sa amin, although I am pressing hard that I want you to reveal that source because we want to find out the truth. Mr. Celis, the truth, and nothing is more important than the truth. So I'm asking you nicely, who is your source?
May I qualify, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to speak?
Yes, but before that, I'd like to remind you and the lawyers that under Section 13, the participation of counsel in this hearing for the witness during the hearing and while the witness is testifying shall be limited to advising the legal rights of the witness. Is that clear, Attorney Tolentino and Attorney Suplico?
Yes,
Okay,
Your Honor.
that will only limited to that. Wala ho tayong coaching dito, ha? Yes. Eric Kyrick,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the recognition.
Mr. Chair.
Congressman Suarez, sir.
please answer straight
Yeah.
directly, ha? Wala ho tayong ligoy-ligoy na sagot ho dito.
Mr. Chair, can I something?
Okay.
Can I say something
Yes.
before you?
Point of order.
Yeah. No,
Go ahead.
no.
Please.
Just want to be enlightened. What is your decision regarding the prior motion made by Congressman Paduano on?
Well, the
There's a
motion was
motion, there's a
point of
motion.
order.
No.
He only made the point of order. So he was declaring him out
Thank
of
you,
order.
thank you.
Thank you. Yes, proceed. Yes or no?
Yeah, thank you po, Mr. Chairman.
Please answer directly, ha? Huwag po tayo masyadong
I
lumaki.
will not answer it because I am protected by law as per advice in conference with my lawyers here. I am protected by the Soto law. Unless the Soto law is repealed, I will be under the protection of the Soto law. Republic Act number 53.
Mr. Chair. Okay.
And the previous statements made, Your Honor, Mr. Chairman, please, were made without the competent advice of legal counsel. That's why I was requesting humbly for this honorable committee chaired by Congressman Tambunting that all those testimonies regarding the testimonies I made here can be stricken off the record if it may be considered as a request. Because those are inadmissible.
Ang tanong po, alam nyo, lagi nyo sinasabi Soto law. Ano pong portion ng Soto law ang tinutukoy ho nyo? Anong particular provision sa Soto law? Pakibasa po.
I will, Mr. Chairman, I will request my counsel to give me the particular provision, or they may be allowed to reference the particular
No, we
provision.
are requesting you.
I don't have the copy of the Soto.
Then I will suggest that the council give him a copy of the Soto law. Because we do not, you're only supposed to, like I said earlier, hindi ho kayo pwede magsalta. Yan magsalta si Eric.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to read the pertinent provision from the Soto law? Without prejudice, this is section 1 of 1145 as amended. Without prejudice to his inability or ability under the civil and criminal laws, any publisher, owner, or duly recognized or accredited journalist, whether reporter, writer, contributor, opinion writer, editor, columnist, manager of media, or other media practitioner involved in the writing, editing, production, and dissemination of news or mass circulation of any print, broadcast, wire service organization, or electronic mass media, including cable TV, television, and its variants, cannot be compelled to reveal the source of any news item, report, or information appearing or being reported or disseminated through other or the said media which was related in confidence or reported in confidence. Above mentioned media practitioners, unless the court or the House of Representatives or the Senate or any committee of Congress finds that such revelation is demanded by the national security of the state.
Eric,
Your Honor,
pero may magtanong po, Chair, para ho maliwanag.
Mr. Chairman, can I explain the
No.
provision?
I will have to answer first the position raised by the witness. Ang unang po sinabi nyo, accredited journalist. Kayo ba'y accredited journalist? Eric, kayo po ang tinatanong po. Kayo po ba'y accredited journalist?
The accreditation or the license to practice journalism does not require any particular organization or government entity to give us license or accreditation for broadcast. If you are referring, Mr. Chairman, to KBP, membership to KBP is voluntary. KBP is not an absolute regulatory power for broadcast.
So ano
We are like an NGO and private organization.
ano pong basihan nyo, basihan ng provision na yan, nung sinabi niya kailangan accredited, kayo nag-cite ng batas. Kayo nag-cite ng prohibition.
Mr. Chairman,
Accredited journalist, hindi ho kayo, sino dapat mag-accredit sa inyo?
Smni is an accredited and franchise-granted media. And therefore, the prerogative in the decision for editorial decision who can broadcast or cannot broadcast in their station rests with the franchise granted to them. Therefore, hindi po kami required na maghingi ng pahintulot sa gobyerno na mag-broadcast kami doon. Dahil kami po ay bahagi ng isang media organization na may legitimate existence as granted by franchise.
Yes, but remember, may disclaimer. Ang sabi ng SMNI, hindi po nila pananagutan ang gagawin nyo. At hindi na nga raw kayo empleyado, sabi nila. So, ergo, hindi ho namin agad-agad kaya tanggapin yung inyong mungkahi. Pangalawa, I would like to remind you that this is a House inquiry. which is provided for by the SOTO law. And third, tatanungan ko, security of state, binanggit nyo. Ano po ibig nyo? Ito ba yung security of state? Tingin nyo itong issue to, which is an exception?
Ang 1.8 billion na pagtatanong ko po, Your Honors, Mr. Chairman, ay hindi po threat to national security. Kapag ito po ay tinatanong ng mga media practitioners at ng mamamayan patungkol sa tamang pangangalaga sa pondo ng bayan. And I believe Congress is not exempted from public transparency and accountability in the disposal of public funds.
Alam po ninyo,
It's not an issue
Mr.
of
Chair, I think I
national
still have
security.
the floor.
yes.
Yes.
Huling katanungan, alam po niyo yung security of state sa amin. Ito po yung sinabi nyo na empleyado ng Senado ang nagbigay. Sa amin, yan po ay seguridad ng ating institusyon, seguridad ng ating bayan. So kaya po, ito po ay hindi nyo po pwede i-cite ang SOTO law. Mabuti po, malaman nyo na po ang posisyon. At ito'y pinag-aralan po natin, may abogado po kayo, meron din po kami mga abogado rito, may mga researchers po kami. At ang SOTO law ay hindi po applicable dito sa sinasite nyo. Sa tatlong tinanong ko, pare-pareho, hindi po pwede yan. The Honorable J.J.
Thank you very
Suarez,
much.
you are recognized.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So let's just go back to points that already been established. Number one, the statement that you issued were false. You admitted it and you apologized for it last hearing. Number two, you mentioned that your source is from Senate. And Caselis, Mr. Celis, the law that you have just stated that you sought to use to protect your right and not to reveal your source apparently has been ruled cannot be applied. So therefore, I'm asking you again, dahil may kinalaman na may mabigat po ang kinalaman ang repercussions nito You're talking about interparliamentary relationships between the House of Representatives and between the Senate. And none other than the Senate President has already issued a statement about this. So I don't think you see the gravity of the statements that you have issued between both houses in Congress. Now, Mr. Celis, for the last time, please identify your source.
Mr. Chairman, may I be allowed to answer?
Mr. Chair, this is the fourth time I asked Mr. Celis this question. And every time I asked him this question, ang laki ng introduction, wala pa rin yung sagot. Pwede po ba this time, pag pinagbigyan natin siya magsalita, sabihin niya na po yung pangalan?
Kasi kung mag-introduction lang kayo, tapos i-cite nyo na naman, dinisalaw ko na. Sinasabi ko na hindi namin kaya tanggapin yung SOTO law for this particular issues. And we provided the basis for that too. Sa mga binigkas yung provision, doon ko mismo hinugot ko yung argumento namin. Ngayon, kung hindi ko yung sasagot, we will not allow you anymore. Kasi nagre-request na si Congressman Suarez ng kasagutan, pangalan ang kailangan niya.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, may I
Magbibigay po kayo mo ng pangalan o hindi?
may I request that I be allowed to confirm with my legal counsel, please?
Oh, they're right beside you. They can confirm.
Yeah. May I request for at least
Yes.
a 1-minute conference with them?
Please.
Sir Chairman? May I
Session
be recognized
resumes.
again, please?
Okay, please proceed.
In our constitutional democracy,
Hindi.
only the courts can interpret the laws, not Congress.
Okay.
So I
Salamat.
will not answer that question. because I believe Congress does not have the right to interpret laws.
Okay.
It
Mr.
is
Chair,
with
Mr. Chair.
Congress to pass laws, but not to interpret laws.
Mr. Chair.
I make back my statements previously.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. Okay,
Mr.
the
Chair.
Honorable Toby Chanco is recognized.
Mr. Chair, in the sense of fairness, since we really want to know the source, para malaman natin kung ano talaga yung pinagkakalat nito, would we allow Mr. Celis, ka Eric, to reveal the source in executive session? Would the chair allow?
Yes, Ka Eric. It's an executive session, an option for you. There's a suggestion by the Honorable Toby Chanco of Navotas na kung ayaw niyo po sabihin sa harap ng camera at sa publiko, okay lang ba, executive session? We will call for executive session now para lahat ho ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo. Eric.
That would be very dangerous for other media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse still. Your Honor,
Salamat po.
Mr.
Salamat
Chair,
po tayo. The Honorable Toby Chanco is still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just wanted to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, it is very clear that Mr. Celis does not want to answer the question to reveal the source, whether in this inquiry or in executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair, under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celis has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celis.
Camera at sa publiko, okay lang ba, executive session? We will call for executive session now para lahat ho ng options ay binigay na po namin sa inyo. Eric.
That would be very dangerous for other media practitioners present here because it will create a very dangerous and negative precedence on the protection of source provided by law. I will refuse still. Your Honor,
Salamat po.
Mr.
Salamat
Chair,
po tayo. The Honorable Toby Chanco is still recognized for a follow-up question.
No, I just wanted to manifest that the reason that we're suggesting an executive session is to show na tayo naman, hindi naman tayo na binibigyan natin siya ng pagkakataon na i-reveal. Kung talagang gusto niya pangalagaan, at least an executive session. But it seems ayaw niya pa rin po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, it is very clear that Mr. Celis does not want to answer the question to reveal the source, whether in this inquiry or in executive session. So therefore, Mr. Chair, under Section 11, the power to contempt, letter E, grounds for contempt is for a resource person refusal to answer any relevant inquiry. Actually, Mr. Chair, Mr. Celis has already violated two provisions of Section 11. The first one, acting in a disrespectful manner, and the second one, which is very more important rather, is his refusal to answer the question in a relevant inquiry. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to contempt, to cite for contempt Mr. Celis for on this two grounds under section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second the motion.
There's a motion,
Your-
duly seconded. Any objections from any member
Mr. Chairman,
of this committee? There being no objections, on a
Mr. Chairman.
unanimous vote,
Mr.
the
Chairman.
Eric is cited for
Mr.
contempt.
Chairman, may I be recognized?
Ask the Sergeant of Arms to please
Mr. Chairman.
take on.
Mr. Chair,
Eric.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Chairman,
can we request the Sergeant at Arms to
Mr.
practice
Chair.
his responsibility after the hearing? Because there's still other details that
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, point of order. The motion was for Mr. Celis to be cited in contempt. And I think there's supposed to be a second motion. Yes. No, the motion should be for him to be detained. Where? Because under our law, the contempt of the committee shall be deemed contempt of the House. The person cited in this section may, upon order of the committee, be detained in such place as the chairperson or acting chairperson may designate. In other words, we have to decide where to detain him and for how long, Mr. Chair. That's supposed to be the second motion.
Mr. Chair, I believe with regards to the duration, it will be up to this committee to decide, and of course, to Mr. Celis, kung kailan po niyo sasagutin yung tanong natin, and then maybe we could lift the contempt. But as long as hindi pa niya sinasagot yung tanong natin, the contempt will remain.
Mr. Chairman, final statement before niyo po ako'y kulong.
Mr. Chair, I move for
Can I have a
a...
final statement, please? Before po ako magpapakulong, I request the committee.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In an earlier motion, Mr. Chair, we have already approved to cite for contempt Mr. Celis. On this note, Mr. Chair, I move to detain him in the premises of Congress as per our rules on Section 11. So move, Mr. Chair.
The motion.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the committee, may be given 1 minute,
Chairman,
please?
in relation to the motion,
Oh.
can I have?
Because it is required.
The Honorable
two-thirds of the vote.
The Honorable Paduano is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, ang ano lang, point of inquiry lang, kasi we are not allowed to have a detention for indefinite period of time. So we have to establish how long. And the lifting of such detention will depend on the members of this committee, of course, with the cooperation of the person in contempt. So we have to establish how long, because we are not allowed to detain indefinite based on so many jurisprudence, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Honorable Akop is recognized.
Yes, there's a decision by the Supreme Court that we cannot detain a person indefinitely. And therefore, may I move that we come up with a definite period for detention insofar as Mr. Celis is concerned. For violation of paragraph C of section 11 of the rules.
Nakalagay doon, 10 days na 10 days. 10 days na nakalagay. 10 days lang. The Honorable Akop, would you like to make a motion?
May I move that Mr. Celis be detained for being cited in contempt for violation of Section 11, Paragraph C, refusal to answer any relevant inquiry by the members of this committee for a period of 30 days.
Mr. Chairman? Hindi ko pa sila.
He will go on break on December 30 unless he files a motion for reconsideration. We have done this in the different committees already.
Mr.
Congress.
Chair,
There's a motion. The Honorable Committee.
the reason why we cited Mr. Celis for contempt is because he does not want to answer the question. That is precisely why he violated paragraph C. So why will we give him a timeline? Eh kung kahit na hindi pala siya sumagot, papalabasin natin si Mr. Celis. The reason why we cited him for contempt, eh gusto nga natin nasagutin niya yung relevant inquiry natin, nasagutin niya kung sino yung source niya. So I believe that we should not give a timeline, Mr. Chair.
After
Mr. Chairman,
citing
Mr. Chairman.
the jurisprudence, Mr. Chair, I submit to the wisdom of this committee.
Mr. Chairman,
Witness, and he was allowed to speak. And he cited his grounds why, as a matter of fact, we gave him so much airtime that he manifested his refusal to the question of the Honorable Suarez 4 times. And so, that being said, the chair would like to call the Honorable Pimentel to manifest his the motion on the time frame.
Mr. Chair, I would like to amend my previous motion. Therefore, Mr. Chair, I move to detain Mr. Celis for he was cited in contempt until the adoption of the committee report at the plenary session, Mr. Chair. So move.
Okay, so that is also an amendment to the motion of the Honorable Akop early on. There's a motion amending the motion of the Honorable Akop. Any second? Seconded? The chair hearing no objection, the chair adopts and approves the motion of the Honorable Johnny Pimentel. So the Sergeant of Arms is hereby directed to enforce the decision of this committee.
Mr. Chair, can I make a comment, Mr. Chair?
Session suspended. Attorney to
ganito kalaking kahalaga ang ginastos ng House of Representatives. Kasi kung lalabas sa phone records na walang text at ayaw sabihin ni Mr. Celis yung pangalan, maaaring gawa-gawa lang itong mga pinag-uusapan natin dito at walang basehan. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we subpoena the messages from these 2 phone numbers on the specific date when those broadcasts was aired on SMNI. So move, Mr. Chair.
motion by the Honorable David J.J. Suarez, seconded by the Honorable Vice Chair Johnny Pimentel. Any objections? The chair, no objections. The motion is approved. We will now proceed. Okay now.
Yes, just for the information of the body, Mr. Chair, it is on 11/27, November 27, 2023, and the show was aired, I think at 10 in the 10 in the evening, correct? Morning, 10 in the morning. So, with that being said, Attorney Tolentino, can I just ask, nasa na po yung,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
yes, yung presidente ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair, actually he wants to come here, Mr. Chair, but he's sick right now, Mr. Chair. I have with me a medical certificate, Mr. Chair.
So, but you will be speaking on his behalf?
Yes, Mr. Chair, but of course I have a limited authority, Mr. Chair.
So, okay, anyway, Mr. Chair, if I may proceed, just a few questions and I'll give it to the other congressmen who have more questions.
Thank you.
to ask.
May I ask
Can
if
I
you,
just one question?
yes, before that, when you said you have limited authority, what does that mean?
I am here, Mr. Chair, as legal officer of SMNI.
So,
So I can only talk based on my personal knowledge, Mr. Chair. I cannot talk anything that I do not know, Mr. Chair.
how about the attorney Rolex Suplico? So if he knows half, you should know the other half.
The same, Your Honor, we are only legal officers of SMNI. Mr. Rossetti is the president of SMNI. Definitely, there are information that he knows that we do not know.
Okay, so if we
Thank you,
don't, okay, let us make this clear. If we're not satisfied with your answers, then we will call for another hearing in a couple of days just for this issue. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Suarez.
Can we be kind enough to be given a copy of that medical certificate that you're talking about, Mr. Chair?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
And now, Mr. Chair.
As I see it, Mr. Chair, it seems that SMNI has a pattern of harassing individuals and entities using false informations. I sincerely believe that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information with regards to attacking, maligning, destroying the reputation of certain individuals and entities. Kaya nga, Mr. Chair, in this hearing, I would like to establish, or rather hopefully establish, itong pattern ng sex, or rather serial harasser. Mr. Chair, upon research for the past few days, we have found out that SMNI or Suara Sug, for that matter, is facing several cases. Not only in the courts, but in KBP, MTRCB, NTC, and other bodies. I have in my possession some of the cases, Mr. Chair. One, Concepcion, Empeño, Erlinda, Catapan, and Cristina Palabay versus Suara Sug Media Corporation. Docket number case number 2022-027. It was filed at the National Telecommunication Commission on June 2022. The complaint arises from an SMNI broadcast featuring an interview with Palparan conducted by Lauren Badoy. In this interview, allegations were made associating Vice President Robredo, suggesting an alliance with CPP, NPA, and DF. The broadcast specifically referred to the Bicol region as being infested with such affiliations. Number 2 case, Alfonso Tomas Atom Pagaduan Arroyo versus Jeffrey K. Eric Celes and Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa. Docket number R-QZN-23-08237-CV. It was filed at the RTC Quezon City Branch 306 on September 11, 2023. The episodes mentioned in SMI accused Arroyo of being a member of the CPP, NPA, NDF, producing documentaries and participating in activities detrimental to government efforts. Case number
Okay,
3.
sige. Putulin ko muna yan ha. Putulin ko muna yan. Punta tayo dito. Ayan. Alright, mga kapatid, no? Kaya ako siya inilive ngayong gabi to show sa inyo kung paano kinontem si Ka Eric. Okay? Okay, ito, pag-usapan lang natin. Gusto ko kasi malaman ninyo to eh. It's hard to say na mga kababayan ko na simple lang yung pinagagawa kay Ka Eric. Okay? Simple lang. Simple lang yung sinasabi sa kanya. It's very simple. Sino yung ano sa iyo? Sino yung nagbigay sa iyo? Sino yung nag-info sa iyo? Sino yung nagsabi ng information sa iyo? But mga kababayan ko, ayaw niya sabihin. Mga kapatid, ayaw niya sabihin. Ayaw niya sabihin kung bakit siya kinokontempt, bakit siya pinahulong, bakit ba ganun ang ginawa sa kanya ng kongreso. Ayaw niya talaga sabihin. And napilitan na yung mga congressman natin na i-contempt siya, hanggang until na if I'm not mistaken, it was 30 days. I think it's 30 days mga kababayan ko. Kasi ang sabi po dito mga kapatid pasensya na kayo medyo maingay yung aw-aw ko dito sa loob ng kwarto. Ito sabi dito, sumasagot talaga yung aw-aw ko. Ayan, kasama ko si aso ko dito yung aking husky. Ayan. Ito mga kapatid, pag-usapan lang natin Alam niyo po ba ito? Alam niyo po ito mga kababayan ko. Simple lang naman mga kapatid Ako, agree naman ako dito. Kaso, ayan. Kita niyo, di ba? Ayan, papakita ko sa inyo para makita nyo. What's the reason kung bakit? Ito, sabi dito mga kababayan ko. Magandang gabi sa inyo ha. Hindi na ako nagbabate. Sabi po dito mga kapatid, dito sa balita, ayon dito, sabi po dito maliwanag po ito just want to be clarified. Sabi po dito, ayan, angkor ng Smni, ayan mga kababayan ko pinatawan ng contempt ng Kamara. Sabi po kasi dito mga kapatid ito, sabi po dito, Manila, Philippines, pinatawan ng contempt ng House of Committee of Legislative Franchise si Jeffrey K. Eric Celis na ang isa sa mga angkor ng SMNI. Sa pagdinig ng komite, sa pandinig ng komite, nagmosyon si Surigao del Sur Representative Johnny Pimentel na i-contempt si Celis dahil sa kawalan ng galang nito sa komite. Sabi pa dito, mga kababayan ko dahil sa kawalan ng galang uulitin ko, dahil din sa kawalan ng galang, sabi pa daw. At walang galang sa komite. At pagtanggi na ibunyag kung sino kaya ang source ng sinasabi nitong 1.8 billion na ginastos ni House Speaker Martin Romualdez sa biyahe nito ngayong taon mga kababayan. Ayan po ang sinasabi dito Not to be clarified. Sabi pa po dito mga kapatid, sabi po dito, nagdesisyon din ng komite na manatili si Celis sa batasang pambansa complex hanggang sa eto, hindi naman pala siya ikinulong sa Actually, kung talagang itong mga kongresista na to ay marahas, pinakulong to, pwede si Ka Eric sa pwede siya itapon pwede siya itapon sa city jail somewhere. But mga kababayan ko, nagdesisyon ng komite ng House of Committee na sa batasang pambansa na lang siya ikulong hanggang sa pagtibayin ng komite ang report ng plenary session. Bago nito inusisa ni Quezon City Representative David Suarez si Celis kung sino ang source niya sa kanyang impormasyon una niyang sinabi mula noon sa Senado. Ayan, mga kababayan. Kasi nagtataka sila, sino ba talaga ang source? Bakit nalalaman na 1.8? Bakit nalalaman na ganito? That's very kumbaga nabubulaga itong Congress, mga kapatid. Kasi unang-una, hindi dapat nalalaman ng ordinaryong Pilipino yon. Bakit nalalaman ng mga aktivistang ito? Sabi pa dito, mga kababayan ko ito, design galing to sa balita to Sabi dito, unang inamin ni Celis na mali ang kanyang impormasyon. Ayan nagkakaproblema kay Ka Eric. Mga kababayan ko, bakit mo i-report ang isang maling impormasyon? 'Di ba? Hindi, ako ka Eric, ako magkano tayo, magkakampi tayo sa prinsipyo. Magkakampi tayo sa prinsipyo, magkakampi tayo na pagiging ayaw sa komunistang grupo. But bilang isang mas mataas pa sa amin at ikaw ay mamamahayag, ikaw ay mamamahayag at ikaw ay isa sa mga individual na nakikita sa telebisyon ng tao at inaasahan na magbabalita ng totoo, ay hindi mo dapat i-clarify mo muna yung isang statement. Kung talaga bang yung text sa'yo na merong ginastos na 1.8 billion si Congressman Martin Romualdez sa kanyang mga pag-alis. Bandang huli aaminin mo sa Senado na hindi mali yung informasyon na nakarating sa iyo. But the problem is nasabi mo na sa social sa mga tao sa TV. Nasabi mo na rin sa nasabi mo na rin sa mga kababayan natin sa television. Marami nang maniniwala doon. The damage has done. Ika nga nila. Andyan yung damage na nagawa mo. At ngayon, kumakalat ngayon yon, yung mga tao, alam na 1.8 billion ang ginagastos ngayon nito ni Congressman Martin Romualdez. But hindi naman totoo, mga kababayan ko. 'Di ba? Siguro kung may magastos man, minimal, pero hindi ganun kalaki, mga kababayan ko. Sabi pa dito, mga kapatid, gayon pa man, nagmamatigas ito at isiniwalat kung kanino nakuha ang maling impormasyon. Ayon sa mambabatas, mahalagang malamang kung sino ang nagpapakalat ng peking impormasyon dahil maaaring maapektuhan ang inner parliamentary resolution sa pagitan ng Senado at Kamara. Ayan. Gulo. Like I said, the damage has done. Mga kababayan ko Sabi pa dito mga kababayan ko pinanindigan ni Celis na protektado siya ng Republic Act 53 o ang SOTO Law, mga kababayan ko, na hindi umanong maaaring obligahin ng isang reporter, editor, publisher na ibunyag ang source ng nakuhang impormasyon. Hirit ang House Committee of Legislative Franchise Chair Gus Tambunting na lagi lang idinadahilan ni Celis ang SOTO Law bago tuluyan ang makontempt sa 4 na beses na tanong ni Suarez si Celis tungkol sa kanyang source, habang sinabota si President Toby Tiangco ay nag-alok ng executive session. Ngunit tumanggi rin si Celis na isiwalat ang kanyang source dahil mapanghanib umano ito. Bandang huli, naghamon pa ito sa mambabatas kung i-contempt siya, so be it, mga kapatid. Ako I have a theory kung sino itong sinasabi ni Celis. But mga kababayan ko, let's have ayoko i-blind item mga kapatid. Isa tong malaking theory ko to kasi ito yung pinakamalapit na alam ko to na gusto ko sabihin sa inyo. Nandun tayo sa circle dati nila Ka Eric. Tama? Nakakasama ko si Ka Eric. Nakakasama namin si Ka Eric. And most of the people na sinasabi niya na nakakausap niya doon, andun din sa circle na yon. Ayan andun din sa circle na yon. But ako, quote and quote, hinala ko lang naman yon, mga kababayan ko. Kasi yun lang naman ang katsismisan at ang informer ng lahat. Na sinasabing nasa Senado, sinabing nasa Congress, pero nasa Senado. I don't want to expose it na pero yung sinasabi ni Ka Eric na delikadong tao, kilala ko yun. Kung sino yung pinupunto niya. Quote and quote kung yung yan ba yung tao na si Uno kung tawagin. Di ba? Parang ang dating is yun mga kababayan ko Parang ang dating is yun for me. Pero anyway, I don't ka nang pasukin pa yon. Hopefully sana makalabas si Ka Eric. Kawawa naman to si Ka Eric dahil magpapasko. Magbabagong taon. Hopefully sana makalabas to si Ka Eric Anyway, mga kababayan ko, dagdag ko lang din Dagdag ko lang din ho ito. Lahat na sinasabi ho dito, dagdag ko lang mawalang galang. Mawalang galang lang Ito mawalang galang lang mga kababayan ko. Sabi ni Buboy Koykon Sabi niya, lahat ng gustong magsalita laban sa Congress gusto talaga busalan. Kaya walang karapatan ang magtanong ang tao ngayon. No, the Congress is doing their job as well, mga kababayan ko na nakikita ko. Kasi due process pa rin po yung nasa batas po. Kung tutuusin, number 1, may mali si Ka Eric sa pagtatanong. Doon lang ang pinaka-main error niya. Kasi hindi siya sumusunod, hindi siya dumadaan sa chairman ng board of chairman ng committee. Direktahan siyang binabanatan niya kagad. Hindi po, tandaan niyo po, pag nasa Congress ka, hindi po tama na mag-aala radyo tayo doon, mag-aala anchor tayo doon, nasasagot tayo ng ganito. No, that's mali. Isa pa po, hindi binubusalan ng Kongreso ang mga tao. Actually, mga kababayan ko, ang Kongreso nga po, suntutusin eh. Hindi nga, we know that sinabihan siya ni PRRD ng na bulok na institusyon. Lahat naman po bulok ang institusyon, mga kababayan ko. Pero pag ang Congress gumalaw, pumalag, galit po kayo, mga kababayan ko. Kung ano po yung nakikita nyo lakas ng Congress, kung ano po yung nakikita nyo bigat ng dating ng Congress, yan po talaga ang Kongreso, mga kababayan ko. Kaya nilang magpakulong, kaya nilang lumaban ng sabayan. But the main problem, mga kababayan ko, naiintindihan ba ng mga kababayan natin, mga kapatid? Ang tanong ko po dito, bakit nga po ba ang Congress ngayon naghahabol ng ganyan? Kasi sinira po yung pangalan ng institusyon. Sinira po yung pangalan ng isang House Speaker, mga kapatid. Kaya po hinihiring. Inamin naman pala ni Celis na fake news. Hindi daw totoo. O anong gagawin natin? Siyempre, ang Congress, mga kababayan ko, babawiin yung integrity ng tao, mga kapatid, na ginawa na nila. But the problem, mga kapatid, the damage has done. Nagawa na eh. Kalat na yung news. Ano pang mangyayari? Hindi, tsaka unahin ko lang po, Sir Buboy, hindi po hindi po binubusalan ng Kongreso ang mga taong bayan, mga kapatid. Tignan niyo po muna ang sitwasyon bago niyo pong sabihin ang lahat. Okay? Kaya po pinin ko po kayo eh. I agree also kay Tita Emily Sipagan sa mga sinabi niya dito. Ang problema lang hindi ako I'm just voicing my opinion. You don't have a sarcastic Mr. Gilbert Sanchez. I doesn't person and I hope do the same. Alam nyo po, sa totoo lang, sabi pa ni Tita Emily, basahin ko lang, well, watch by Mr. Eric is the longest time found in the more reliable than anyone in the Congress. He was proved himself that he is more than government after being previous rebel. I agree with that, Tita Emily Sipagan. But the process po kasi, kailangan sumunod ni Ka Eric. Kung susunod si Ka Eric sa sasabihin ng Congress, well, mga kababayan ko, di ba? Well, mga kababayan ko, pwede niyang ibigay yung kanyang kung hindi naman, mga kababayan ko, yung executive session nga na binibigay ni Congressman Toby Tiangco, tinanggihan niya, sayang yun. Kung tutusin, doon na, pwede niyang sabihin. Pero on the congressmans lang yun, hindi pwede lumabas yun. Kasi mababaliktad yun. Mga congressman naman ang pwedeng makontempt doon. Mga kabayan, hindi korte ang Kongreso. Nagtatanong lang ba ng masama? Hindi naman masama magtanong. Hindi masamang magtanong. Pero karapatan ng mga congressmen natin na umistilo, tanongin sila at gisahin kung paano nyo ito nalalaman. Mga kababayan, paano nyo ito ilalabas ng ganito? That's the biggest problem eh. Kasi 'di ba, imagine niyo, wala naman palang basihan, wala naman palang matinding ebidensya na itong si Martin Romualdez ay gumastos ng 1.8 billion pesos. Wala naman pala itong matinding resibo, mga kababayan ko. Wala po itong hindi niya po maibigay yung tamang datos, 'di ba? Mga kapatid ko, paano mga kababayan ko, hindi niya maibigay eh. Bakit hindi niya maibigay? Dalawa lang ang tumatakbo sa isip ko. It's either totoo ito o hindi totoo. But the problem, inamin niya na hindi totoo yung mga impormasyon na nakuha niya, so it means it was fake news. Okay? But mga kababayan ko, ang hinahabol dito, sino yung achu-chu-chu na sinasabi nito na nag-text sa kanya? Ayaw pangalanan nito ni Celis. Ayaw pangalanan nito. Doon nagkakagulo ang Congress. Hindi doon sa Inamin na ni Celis na wala na. Wala na siya doon. Wala. O kumbaga fake news yung sinabi niya. Ang hinahabol ng Congress ngayon, sino yung nagsabi sa'yo? na ayaw niyang pangalanan. Doon nagkakaproblema, mga kababayan ko. The problem is bakit ayaw nila buksan ang libro nang matigil lang magtatanong mamaya Pilipino ano ba talaga ang totoo kung di totoo. Bakit ayaw nila buksan sa publiko, 'di ba? Magtanong ka yes or no ang isasagot. Yan po sa akin doon. Maribe Achievers magpakita po. Ayan na. Let's respect each party, mga kababayan ko. But susubukan pa rin natin. Anyway, pinutol ko lang sandali doon at pakinggan natin to ulit. Dahil ang dami ko nakitang komento, di ako makapagsalita kanina sa inyo eh. Nagbabakbakan kasi kayo. Anyway, okay lang naman yan. It's okay. Wala namang problema dyan. But let's respect each party. Hayaan natin ang Kongreso mag-imbestiga. If you say na bakit Supreme Court ba yan? They are the House of Representative. They have mayroon silang karapatan na mag-imbestiga sa sarili nila. Ganun lang kadali yun. Eto, panoorin natin.
This was filed in the Professional Regulation Commission on April 11, 2022. Bonifacio Carmona versus Lorraine Marie Badoy Partosa, Eleanor Hara. The complaint specifies Badoy Partosa's actions utilizing her government position to spread baseless and harmful accusations against the complainants. Case number 4, Ombudsman Cases versus Lorraine Badoy. Again, this is in connection with their practice of spreading false information. Now, Mr. Chair, may I ask Lorraine Badoy, inakusahan po ninyo si former Vice President Leni Robredo claiming that she has an alliance with communists. Meron po kayong ebidensya na nagpapatunay na si former Vice President Leni Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista? Because you released this statement and accused her of conniving with communists. Because if you cannot prove or you cannot present evidence, then clearly this is a testimony that indeed Lauren Badoy and Ka Eric is spreading false information, which is a violation of Section 4. Kasagot po, Ma'am Badoy.
Mr. Chair, yung tungkol po sa former Vice President, yung statement po na yon ay hindi po yon personal na opinion ko. I said all those things as the Strategic Communications Cluster Head of the National Task Force, LCAC at the time, and that was in fact the official stand of our government. Therefore, meron po siyang tinatayuan na ebidensya. Hindi ko po yon personal na opinion.
Pero kayo po ang nag-disseminate ng information na yon.
Apo.
It could be the stand of the government, but kayo po ang nag-air ng akusasyon na yon na si Robredo ay may alyansa sa komunista. Hindi po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair, because that was part of my
So
job.
in short po, ginamit po din yung plataforma ng SMNI to spread false information. Hindi
Mawalang galang. Ang tawag sa ginawa nila clickbait. Clickbait po, clickbait. Clickbait yun.
po ba?
Mr. Chair,
Because according to you, hindi galing sa inyo eh. So did you verify the report?
Mr. Chair, that came from the National Task Force, LCAC, and that was our official stand. And the LCAC is made of all these agencies in government. And kaya ko sinabi po yon, Mr. Chair, it was as my mandate bilang trabaho ko po na spokesperson na National Task Force, LCAC, na bago naglalabas ng ganyang statement, meron pong vetting process.
Okay, ma'am, meron po ba kayong dokumento to support this position of the National Task Force?
Mr. Chair, I can produce it.
Okay,
Because
can you please submit that by tomorrow to the committee?
Yes, Mr.
And
Chair.
we would like to see the basis. This National Task Force, this was created by whom?
The National Task Force, LCAC, Mr. Chair, is the Executive Order number 70 that was created by then President Rodrigo Roa Duterte and it was continued by the sitting president, President Bongbong Marcos.
So it is still
yeah,
in
it-
existence, this National Task Force.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but I'm no longer part of it officially.
Thank you very much. The
Thank you,
Honorable
Mr.
Mr.
President.
Chair, as I've stated earlier, I would like to establish that SMNI is being used as a tool to spread false information. Ngayon, dito po tayo. SMNI aired an interview in its news channel wherein Ms. Badoy claimed that Ana Patricia Noon, who put up the Maguinhawa Communist Party, had also links to the communist movement. Totoo po ba ito, Mr. Badoy, Ma'am Badoy?
Mr. Chair, again, that was in official stand po ulit yon ng National Task Force LCAC. Hindi ko po yon personal na opinion. And I can, again, Mr. Chair, submit documents and proof regarding this.
Yes, as stated by the chair, pakisubmit din po dito kung totoo po ba talaga na yun ang stand ng government because kayo po ang spokesperson at that time.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
SMNI also violated numerous provisions of 2007 Broadcaster Code of the Philippines, specifically as regards to the credibility of news sources and reports. Ito po ang palaging problema ng SMNI. Mr. Chair, kagaya nung sinabi ninyo na that the speaker spent 1.8 billion pesos in traveling expenses, pero during the last hearing, nung tinanong ko po si Ka Eric, eventually he admitted na mali pala ang source niya because we presented their documents and testimonies from the Secretary General and the head of the Finance Department, Bobby Maling, proving otherwise na walang katotohanan yung 1.8 billion pesos. So, Mr. Chair, clearly, as I've said, meron ho silang pattern. Well, I mentioned already 4 cases. Ngayon, sa KBP, meron din kaso ang SMNI. Now, may I ask the resource persons, ano ang nature ng kaso ng SMNI?
Mr. Chair? Yes. May I recognize Mr. Chair? No, this question is addressed
To
to
KBP.
KBP.
I'm addressing my question, Mr. Chair, to KBP.
KBP, you have the
Because,
floor.
As I
Mr.
said
Chair.
earlier, dahil sa daming fake news, sa daming mga maling impormasyon na pinapalabas sa SMNI in their program and other programs, eh marami yung nga silang kaso. You know ang ina-establish ko. Because of the false informations that you are disseminating, you are faced with several cases proving na marami kayong hinaras, marami kayong minalign, marami kayong sinira ng mga reputasyon using false information. Yun po ang gusto kong i-prove dito sa hearing, Mr. Chair.
Mr.
Now,
Chair, my manifestation is related to the question, Mr.
No.
Chair.
May
Again, Mr.
very
Chair.
specific, it is the KBP.
Specific.
Okay,
Ah.
so KBP is recognized.
Meron pong kaso sa KBP ang SMNI. Ano yung kasong yun?
Mr. Chair, the complaint was received only today.
Can you please speak closer to the microphone? Thank you.
The complaint from a certain Mr. Luis C. Biraugo was received only today. In fact, I was informed of it only on my way to the hearing. The complaint involves violation of the broadcast code, particularly on airing of unverified reports. Personal attack intended to malign, unfair, criticize, or attack a person, natural or juridical. Speech or action likely to incite any person to violence or antisocial behavior. Vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. Use of vulgar, obscene, or indecent language. And then use of language tending to incite violence, sedition, or rebellion. And name calling of personal insults. May we inform, however, the Honorable Committee that Suarezug withdrew their membership from KBP. And we are informed only of this afternoon.
Mr. Chair, so yung complaint po ni Luis Borriago, ganun din po, hindi po ba? Maling mga impormasyon and maligning the complainant. And yung request po niya is to revoke the license of Suarasug based on these unconfirmed reports, hindi po ba?
The grounds being cited are the same. Although the request is to determine accountability for the previous flagrant or unmistakable violations of the law and rules.
Mr. Chair.
There's also a prayer for cancellation of franchise, Your Honors.
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
so thank you from KBP. Again, ang nakasaad po doon, citing violations of Section 4, responsibility to the public, and prayer for the cancellation, revocation of SMNI license. Dito naman po tayo sa MTRCB. Alam ko po, meron din hong kaso ang SMNI ho dyan. Mr. Chair, may I ask the former SecGen, Cesar Pareha, to expound or relate to us ano naman po ang nature ng kaso doon sa MTRCB ng SMNI.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
There was a case filed with us which we earlier resolved. This was earlier discussed during the last hearing about the airing of the episode on October 10 of Gikan sa Masa para sa Masa, where death threats were allegedly aired against the Honorable Castro. And this has been resolved. We have called the parties into hearing, and they promised to not to repeat the same, and in fact even admitted that they will be they have decided to pre-record succeeding episodes so that they can avoid having this matter on air. And this was resolved on November 9. And we have a resolution that we furnish this committee. Now, we were informed last time that despite this decision, the entity again broadcast another episode with the same content. So they violated what we have agreed upon, and we have called them to appear before the MTRCB. We gave a notice to them to appear on December 7, this Thursday, to look into this matter.
So to clarify, Mr. Chair, ibig nyo sabihin, SecGen Attorney Pareha, na may resolution na yung complaint. Anong resolution ninyo? They were reprimanded, they were warned, anong resolution nakalagay doon?
Yeah. They were given a warning that repeat of the similar infraction will be dealt with more severely.
Nakikita po natin, Mr. Chair, pinagsabihan na ho ang SMNI na huwag gamitin yung pinagsabihan ng Suarasug or SMNI, na huwag nang gamitin yung TV network nila sa pagmamalay, pangharas ng mga tao. And in fact, galing sa testimonya ni Attorney Pareha, pinagbawalan ni sila. But in spite of that, ginawa pa rin nila. So that means, Mr. Chair, very clear na po yun na-establish natin na talagang they are in violation of Section 4. Hindi na ho Kongreso ang nagsasabi sa kanila na tigilan nila yung pag-atake. MTRCB na po. So that is a different ikangang entity from Congress. So ibig sabihin talagang palagi silang may mga kalokohan na ginagawa against individuals and entities. So I hope, Attorney Pareha, that you will, as you have said, hindi naman sinunod yung warning ninyo, So they will be dealt with severely. And I hope that you will give them sanctions para naman mabigyan sila ng ikangang lesson na they should follow what is stated Section 4, responsibility to the public, interest of the public. So, establish na po natin, 5 na ho yung kaso, pang-6 na ho yung sa MTRCB. May isang pa bang isa?
We're still, we already notified them, also gave them a notice to appear regarding the episode on the fake news on the speaker's travel. And
So-
also on the same day, they will be hearing this on Thursday also.
So, Mr. Chair, na-establish natin 7 na yung kaso na hinaharap ng SMNI with different organizations. Doon po tayo sa National Telecommunication Commission. I understand na meron din yung kaso ang SMNI ho dyan.
NTC, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As far as the NTC is concerned, Swatasug also has a pending administrative case. This is under, as mentioned earlier, 2022-027, and also this complaint centers on content aired over the station, specifically involving the former vice president. So the NTC has nag-hear na po kami on this case. The respondents have already been nag-appear na po sila. They have submitted also their corresponding answers. And NTC is for decision na po yung case na yun, sir. But it's still pending for decision by the commission.
So at the moment, there are 2 cases lodged at NTC. So ngayon pa lang, Mr. Chair, we have not done a full research, pero makikita po natin, 9 na po ang kaso ng SMNI, again, with regards to Section 4, this is responsibility to the public. So Mr. Chair, nakikita po talaga natin, SMNI is not a responsible network. Whereas, ang ibang mga TV stations or TV networks na pumahawak po ng prangkisa, they are there to entertain the Filipino people. They are there to disseminate important information, especially in times of calamities or news article for the betterment, improvement of the Filipino people. In short, as a medium to disseminate information to the Filipino people. But in this case, nakikita po talaga natin, SMNI is not doing that, but rather, SMNI is being used as a platform to malign, to destroy, sisiraan ang isang tao, isang entity, which is, as I've said, Mr. Chair, a clear violation of Section 4, responsibility to the public. So yun po, Mr. Chair, I hope na nakikita po ng committee itong mga kasalanan ng SMNI, itong mga infractions nila. It is within our power to approve, to amend, or to revoke, or to repeal any franchise holder na nakikita natin who is not in compliance with the provisions in their franchise, in this case, Republic Act 11422. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Very much, Vice Chair John
Chair.
Pimentel of the
Mr. Chair.
2nd District of Davao del Sur. Surigao del Sur, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair.
I stand corrected. Yes, Attorney Tolentino.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to manifest that with respect to the SMNI membership with KBP, we already withdraw last December 4, 2023. So the case pending with KBP is already moot and academic. And second, Mr. Chair,
Wait. So December 4,
2023, Mr. Chair. Yesterday. Yes, Mr. Chair.
I understand why you had to withdraw. We're talking the broadcast code
Because,
of the
Mr.
Philippines.
Chair, we believe that the membership of KBP is not mandatory. And in fact,
So if it was not mandatory, why did you join in the first place?
we join, it's an option on our part, Mr. Chair.
Precisely. So,
Yes.
but you joined.
So we have the option to be a
Correct.
member. We also have
Yes.
the option not to be a member.
Yeah. Anyway, we will not anymore,
And
you know,
and second,
belabor that
Mr.
point. Ay, wag na ho tayong pumunta ho doon. Basta klaro ho tayo, kahapon lang, pagkatapos ng first hearing, ay nag-withdraw po kayo. Sa
Yes, Mr.
KBP.
Chair.
Klaro lang po yan. Ha?
Mr.
Then,
Chair,
Mr.
I would
Chair.
like to comment on yung sinabi ni Atty. Tolentino. Nag-withdraw sila sa KBP. Bakit? Dahil hindi nga nila masunod yung broadcast code of the Philippines.
Oh.
That is precisely they withdrew their membership because they could not abide by the broadcast code. Hindi nila magawa Section 3, fairness and objectivity. Hindi nila magawa ang Section 5, unconfirmed reports. Hindi nila magawa Article 4, personal attacks. Pati yung mga on-air language. That is why nga these boasters, may accusation, may allegations na hindi sila karapat-dapat bigyan ng prangkisa or bawiin ng prangkisa. The fact that they withdrew from KBP just underscores the need for the revocation of their license. Kaya kayo nag-withdraw, Atty. Tolentino, Mr. Chair, hindi nyo masunod yung code ng broadcasters of the Philippines. Hindi po ba? Hindi ko natatanungin yan. Very clear na po yun.
Thank you very
Mr.
much,
Chair.
the
Mr. Chair.
Honorable
With all due respect to
Chair.
the,
We now proceed.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, with all
Ano
due
po
respect
ninyo?
to the,
Order. Klaro na po tayo, nag-withdraw kayo, no?
yes,
At
Mr. Chair, but
mamaya ho, tatawagin ko po kayo. Marami pa ho mga membro magtatanong. Please reserve your questions.
thank you, Mr. Chair.
The Honorable Toby Chanko of the Votas is recognized. Silence requested.
Yes, magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair, at magandang hapon po sa ating mga resource persons. Sayang po, binigyan natin ng pagkakataon si Ka Eric na magpaliwanag at pinili niyang hindi magpaliwanag. No? Anyway, since si Dr. Badoy po ang co-host, Mr. Chair, if I may ask Dr. Badoy, ang napanood ko kasi yung last hearing, ang sabi niyo po, tinatanong niyo kung totoo na ang gastos ay 1.4 billion o hindi. Tama po, 1.8 billion o hindi. Tama po ba? It was in a form of question and it was not a statement. Yun po ang sabi nung last hearing. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, tama po yun. Correct. It was posed as a question.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Dr. Badoy, yes.
I
Sandali
have
na po.
with me the USB if I'm allowed to play this, Mr.
Sandali
Chair.
na po.
Attorney to
I think,
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Kung yun po ay tanong, sino po ang tinatanong nila, Mr. Chair? Who was the question addressed to, Mr. Chair?
The Honor,
I will.
ma'am,
Mr. Chair, may I answer?
yes, please.
So, as I recall po, Mr. Chair, the question was being posed to Congress and also I think COA. It was Ka Eric that asked that question and then we seconded him.
Okay. Kung tinatanong niyo po ang Congress, sino po ang tinawagan niyo sa Kongreso at sino po ang kausap niyo sa Kongreso para tanungin? O sino po ang kausap niyo o tinawagan niyo sa COA para tanungin?
Mr. Chair,
Please reply.
yeah. Mr. Chair, wala po kaming tinanong kasi parang we were called not to this hearing. Did I answer your
I
question?
mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, ang ibig ko pong sabihin, di ba nagproprograma sila ng araw na yon? Ang sabi nila, tinatanong nila. Di ba normal po pag ang isang media entity nagtatanong, Mr. Chair, tatawagan po nila yung tatanungin nila, di ba po? Para makasagot naman yung tatanungin nila. So ang tanong ko po, during the program, sino po ang tinawagan ng SMNI from Congress para masagot yung tanong nila? Yun po ang tanong ko, Mr. Chair.
Please reply.
Okay, Mr. Chair, if I can backtrack a little bit, parang nakita niya sa GAA yung 2-point-something billion for the travel expenses. Tapos parang may nag-text sa kanya. Pero to answer your question, after that program, we didn't ask anybody, Mr. Chair.
Hindi po, Mr. Chair. Maliwanag po yung tanong ko, Mr. Chair. Kasi sabi nila, sila ay nagtatanong at hindi nila sinasabi. Ulitin ko po, tayo, na-interview po tayo, nanonood tayo ng TV. Pag meron tayong tinatanong, meron tayong kausap. Mahirap naman po magtanong na wala kang kausap, Mr. Chair. Sino ho ang sasagot ng tanong? kung wala kang kausap? So sino po ang tinatanong nyo para ma-confirm o masabi yung katotohanan tungkol po doon sa 1.8 billion during the program? Meron po ba kayong tinatanong na tao o wala?
Lorraine?
Mr. Chair, yung specific na tao, ang pagkakaintindi ko sa pag-phrase ni Ka-Eric ay it was a general question that was addressed to Congress, or I think maybe just Congress. But may I also say that lagi namang bukas ang SMNI sa mga tanong kung sino man pwede yon. We always issue an open invitation, Mr. Chair.
Mahirap po yan. That is very unprofessional, Mr. Chair. Members of Congress are being interviewed. Tatawagan kayo. Mahirap naman yung sinabing tinanong, oy, sumagot kayo dito. Hindi ba kung nagtatanong kami, kausap ka, Mr. Chair. Hindi pa pwedeng nagtatanong ka na wala kang kausap. Sino sasagot sa iyo? So the fact na wala silang kausap, it means it was not a question to be answered. Ibig sabihin, they post it as a question, Mr. Chair, na hindi tayo makakasagot. So, ginamit lang nila yung question na yung salitang tanong para protektado sila ng konti at hindi sinabing nag-aakusa sila. Pero sa totoo lang, Mr. Chair, wala silang intensyon na makasagot. Kasi paano ka na masasagot kung hindi ka tinawagan? Di ba? Ito po, siguro sinasabi nyo gusto nyo ang katotohanan. Paano nyo makukuha yung katotohanan, Mr. Chair, kung wala naman po kayong kausap?
Okay. Mr. Chair,
Mr. Ray?
I'm sorry, I'm answering for Ka-Eric, but I'll just really do my best. Kasi parang yung naging impression, siguro yung frustration after the extraordinary funds, the confidential funds, yung usapan na ganyan, na parang ang lumalabas na kwento ay hindi open ang Kongreso sa inquiry. So parang ganun yata yung pinanggagalingan. But I'm not saying that that's what I believe in, ha? I'm just saying that that was where it was coming from. But it was a very sincere question. Yun po yun. Pero I get your point, Mr. Chair, and we will take cognizance of that.
Di ba po, Mr. Chair, Dr. Badoy, if you want an intelligent conversation, dapat naman may resource person kayo, di ba po? Dapat naman bigyan nyo ng pagkakataon na sumagot yung mga, kahit di ba, may nabasa kayo sa tabloid, o babasahin nyo yun, o pwede bang tawagan natin si ganito para madinig naman ang sagot. Pero kung wala pong ganun, mukhang hindi po totoo yung sinasabi na it was a question. It was phrased, hindi ko nakita, as a question just so that hindi pa pwedeng sabihin na nag-akusa. But again, it supports the manifestation of the Honorable Pimentel na mukhang talagang ito'y ginagamit para manira. No? Kasi kung... Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Mr. Chair, siguro, kasi it was just out of the blue, Mr. Chair, where Eric said something kay mga, parang ganun, may nagtatanong dito, ganun. So, hindi kami nahanda, Mr. Chair, na meron kaming naimbitahan. Pero siguro like 90% of the time, meron kaming resource person, meron kaming tinatawagan. That was part of our yung production process namin, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Pero kung yung ganung bagay, hindi naman siya urgent, hindi naman siya sunog, hindi naman siya lindol, hindi naman siya kalamidad, pwede naman mag-intay yung mga bagay na yun kung talagang gusto nila ng fairness, di ba? Pwede i-verify. Paano yung katulad niya? Nalaman nila later on na nag-apologize sila na mali pala, na kuryente pala sila doon sa news nila. Di ba? Hindi ba mas mabuti kung hindi naman emergency, bigyan nyo muna ng pagkakataon yung kabila? I mean, in all these cases, kasi mukhang hindi nyo binigyan ng pagkakataon yung kabila na sumagot.
Mr. Chair, may I
Yes.
respond? May I respond, Mr. Chair, to what you said sa lahat ng mga kasong ito, no? Mr. Chair, ang naging, sa my personal answer, Mr. Chair, ang naging buhay ko nung sumali ako sa gobyerno, my short stint in government, ay talagang tapusin ang CPP, NPA, NDF. At pag tinapos mo kasi yan, pag yan ang kinalaban mo, yayakapin mo lahat. Yayakapin mo ang mga kaso, yayakapin mo ang kasinungalingan, ang pangwawasak ng puri talaga, yayakapin mo yan. So, yung mga sinasabi ng mga kaso, sir, sa totoo lang, Mr. Chair, mas marami pa dyan. Mas marami pa dyan. But napakaganda, nakikita ko ang ating gobyerno, wala namang nag-a-agree sa mga yung allegation is not proof. So, Mr. Chair, tsaka napakaganda that I've worked with some members in Congress no na nakita nila na napakahalaga nung na talagang tinatanggalan ng maskara ang mga mapanlinlang na CPP, NPA, NDF na nasa lahat ng sektor ng ating
Mr.
lipunan. And I know that I
Dr.
stand,
Baloy,
yeah, okay,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
okay.
Ganito, Mr. Chair. With regards to the CPP, NDF, NPA, magkaisa po tayo dyan.
Yeah.
Walang tanong. All out tayo dyan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All out tayo dyan. In fact, I was the one who defended the budget of
Yes.
the OP, and one of the
Yes.
questions was the
I remember, Mr.
NTF
Chair.
LCAC,
Yes,
Apo.
I remember.
So wala tayong pagtatalo dyan.
Yes.
Ang sinasabi lang natin is, yun ulit, hindi logical na gusto mo magtanong at gusto mo na may sagot na wala ka namang kausap. I mean, that is logic. Hindi na kailangan ditong pagtalunan niya. Wala naman lohika na magtatanong ka sa hangin, gusto mo may sasagot sa iyo. So, doon sa parte na yon, sa tingin ko talagang may pagkakamali. Okay. Ngayon, pupunta po ako sa lawyers ng SMNI. Nasabi niyo rin po doon sa huling hearing niyo na lahat po ng programa niyo ay may disclaimer. Tama po ba yon?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. What is the logic of having a disclaimer for all your programs? Ano po ang lohika nun? May prangkisa kayo, may mga alituntunin yung prangkisa ninyo, meron kayong dapat sundin ng mga alituntunin na dapat fair ang reporting, balansyado, hindi kayo naninirang puri. Tapos sasabihin nyo dun sa mga talents ninyo, bahala kayo kung ano gagawin nyo. Wala kami kinalaman dyan. Paano nyo masisigurado na mas susunod nyo yung alituntunin ng inyong prangkisa kung sinasabi ninyo, bahala kayo sa gagawin ninyo?
It doesn't mean that bahala, Mr. Chair. What we mean that we give full, what do you call this? We recognize and respect the freedom of press, freedom of opinion of all our talents, Mr. Chair. And second, Mr. Chair, with respect to the disclaimer, it is a open secret practice to all media practitioners, all media establishments about disclaimer, Mr. Chair, not only SMNI, Mr. Chair.
Okay, if it's an open practice for all media practitioners, Mr. Chair, what do you have a body within your organization, within SMNI, that monitors and ensures na yung mga anchors niyo at yung mga talents po nila ay sumusunod sa fair and balanced reporting?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have.
Ano po yung tawag niyo doon?
We have a grievance committee, Mr. Chair.
Okay, sino po ang mga miyembro ng grievance committee?
We have the executive producer.
Okay,
We have the associate producer,
okay.
researcher. What do you call this?
Sandali.
Hindi po, paano
Sandali,
magiging member
yung-
ng grievance committee?
Sandali na po, yung grievance committee nyo, parang may mali eh. Kasi, ang executive producer ng bawat programa, iba-iba.
Yes,
Ang
Mr. Chair.
associate producer, iba-iba.
Yes,
So
Mr. Chair.
therefore, yung grievance committee nyo, walang permanenteng, mga opisyalis. Dahil iba-iba ho yan. Every program has its own set of producers.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We have
So-
seven producers every program.
So, how can you expect people to police their own ranks? Sila producer nun.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
How can they rule
And that
in favor or not in favor of anything? Sila ang producer. I think
And-
there's is this a truthful statement that you have a grievance committee per show?
we have a grievance committee of the entire organization.
Yes, but you
We
just
have
mentioned.
also a producer per program, Mr. Chair.
And you said that those are the officers.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So therefore, per show is a different person. How do you expect that person to, ano siya mag-rule na mali yung ginawa ng anchor, ako yung producer nun eh. Hindi parang pinagalitan ko rin ang sarili ko. Attorney, medyo ano ho yan. Anyway, the Honorable Tobichanco.
No, Mr. Chair, you can continue. Yan po yung pupuntahan ko. Paano mo naman sasabihin na ako nag-produce, mali yung anchor ko? Paano mangyayari yun, Mr. Chair?
I don't think that really is the composition also of the grievance committee. But anyway, that's what they manifested. So we will have to check that out.
Mr.
Honorable
Chair.
Toby Tiangco,
Yes.
I don't think there's no logic, no, in having these officials or these officers of a program part of a group committee when they're supposed to be the people that very violated the law that we're supposed to be grieving about. But
Mr.
anyway,
Chair, point of
Honorable Toby.
clarification lang
Yes,
dun
yes,
sa
yes.
point ni Congressman
Yes.
Toby. Last hearing, Ka Eric mentioned that he received a text message on Monday and he was meant to meet his source on Wednesday. So Monday pa lang, hindi pa verified yung report, hindi niya pa nakikita yung dokumento, ni-report mo na. Maski na alam mo, magkikita kayo ng source mo ng Wednesday kung kailan niya ipapakita yung dokumento. Which means, wala talaga silang basehan at wala silang hawak-hawak na dokumento, di umano, yung dalawang text messages lang, Kong Toby, yung pinagbasihan nila ng report. Yun yung sinasabi nila doon nung nakarang hearing.
Mr. Chair, may I explain, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Yung pagkakaintindi ko dito, Mr. Chair, yung source ni Ka Eric, long-standing na relationship yan, dekada, kasi kasama niya yan sa CPP, NPA, NDF. So parang meron na silang sariling palakad na they really trust each other already. So hindi siya yung parang nanggaling lang dito. Kung na you get what I'm saying, Mr. Chair, parang matagal na silang magkakakilala. And at maraming beses siguro yung hindi lang siguro, sure ako dito na yung batting average nung kanyang source ay mataas, no?
Yes, just a final manifestation, no? In granting the franchise and in accepting the franchise holder accepts the conditions and the responsibilities of the franchise. So, hindi ko maintindihan bakit hindi niyo papangalagaan at sisiguraduhin na yung mga talents ninyo ay susunod dun sa alituntunin ng franchise. Prangkisa niyo yun eh. Pinaghirapan niyo yung prangkisa, dumaan kayo sa proseso, tapos papabayaan niyo lang. Paano kung may personal na interest yung mga talents ninyo? Hindi naman matatanggal yan. Why are you not policing your ranks to ensure na fair and balanced ang reporting ng inyong prangkisa? So, yun lang po, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, the Honorable Toby Tiangco
Mr. Chair, just one point before we leave this.
of Navotas. Yes, the Honorable Suarez.
Following yung KBP guidelines and regulations, which used to be a part of, dapat sasabihin nyo doon na this figure is unverified and this figure has not been checked whether truthful or not. Any of those items hindi po nila binanggit dun sa telecasting. I just want to point that out, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very
Chair,
much, the
Mr.
Honorable.
Chair.
Can I make a follow-up?
Yeah.
Mr.
Just
Chair,
one. Just one. Dr. Badoy, are you aware kung may pinadala bang screenshot to Viber o any image yung source ni Ka Eric kaya tumuloy siya doon, or it was just a simple text message?
Mr. Chair,
Lorraine?
I'm not aware of, hindi ko po masagot yan, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very
Sorry.
much. Okay, the chair would like, before we continue,
In relation to the,
Honorable Ako.
yes. Madam Badoy, did I hear you correct that you also vouch for the truthfulness of the reports of the high batting average of the source of Mr. Celis? You stated that a
Yes,
while
Mr.
ago
Chair.
in answer to the query of the Honorable Tiangco. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And if you're aware of this, would you know the personality or the name of this person?
No, Mr.
Kasi you're
Chair.
vouching for his or her high batting average,
Mr. Chair,
and you do not know his name?
No, may I respond?
Yes, please.
Okay. Mr. Chair, what I meant by that, hindi ko po siya kilala, Mr. Chair. Pero kasi si Ka Eric po ay isang halige ng National Task Force LCAC sa mga pinaglalahad niya tungkol sa CPP, NPA, NDF bilang dating mataas na ranggong kasapi nito. Yung katotohanan na binigay niya sa NTF LCAC ay napakahalaga, kung kaya alam namin na yung mga sources ni Ka Eric ay what's it Tagalog? Very reliable, Mr. Chair. And they usually corroborated by other former rebels. But Mr. Chair, I do get your point. I do get your point.
Mr. Chair, alam nyo, sinabi nyo rin sa sagot ninyo kay Honorable Tiangco, na alam ninyo na membro ito ng CPP, NPA-NDF. Tama po ba?
Mr. Chair, dati. Matagal na, sir.
Paano nyo po alam? Kasi para bang yung mga sagot nyo kanina kay Honorable Tiangco, alam na alam at kilalang-kilala nyo yung taong ito. But when you are asked a question, in so far as the identity of that person is concerned, hindi po nyo masagot. Ngayon, tinatanong ko, membro ba ng CPP, NPA, NDF? Kayo po ang nagsabi nun. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, tinatanong ko kung alam ninyo, sabi mo, dati. Kasi, para bang umiiwas po kayo dun sa katanungan eh.
Hindi po,
Kung dati po siyang membro ng CPP, NPA, NDF, paano nyo alam na umalis siya o tumiwalag siya ron?
pwede pong sumagot, Mr. Chair.
Oh.
So after po nung committee meeting dito, sa totoo lang pinilit ko si Eric. Eric, sino ba yan? Ganyan. I wanted to also, pwede ba, sabihin mo, ganun, para tapos na ito, ganun. But he stood fast on his decision. So kung kaya't yun ang isiniwalat niya. And that's all I know about it, Mr. Chair.
From your answer, Madam Badoy, hindi mo kakilala yung taong yun. Hindi mo rin alam
Mr. Chair.
kung siya ay umalis na sa CPP, NPA, NDF. I'm asking this question dahil doon sa sagot ni Mr. Celis na siya ay empleyado ng Senado. Mas takot ako doon. Kasi meron pala sa amin, hindi ko alam, nakasama sa CPP, NPA, NDF.
Mr. Chair, pwedeng sumagot.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, sa order of battle ng CPP, NPA, NDF, siguro si Eric nasa number 1. Yan ang unang papatayin ng CPP, NPA, NDF sa dami ng sinabi niya tungkol sa CPP, NPA, NDF. So
You do
hindi ko
not
siya,
have to teach me that.
Mr.
I've
Chair,
been with the military and the police and I know that. Kaya huwag mo na akong lecturean dyan. Ang tinatanong ko po sa inyo ay tungkol doon sa sa pagsasagot po ninyo sa katanungan ni Honorable Tiangco. Kilalang-kilala ninyo yung tao sa sagot ninyo eh. But when you are asked questions about the identity of that person, umiiwas po kayo. Yun lang po, Mr. Chair, ang aking observation.
Thank you very much.
with Mr. Chair. Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yeah.
The police general. Kaya magaling ho mag-imbestiga to. Lahat ho ng sinungaling nakausap na po nito.
Mr.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, pwedeng,
Thank you.
yeah.
We will now proceed to the next interpreter. The Honorable Mig Zugrares is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Para makahinga muna tayo ng konti dahil medyo hindi masyadong sinasagot yung mga tanong natin. If it's okay with the committee, if we go through some violations na lang sa prangkisa nila.
Ready to.
I will ask questions and mostly sections 10 and 11,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Please proceed. The Honorable Negrares.
To SMNI, I guess, Attorney Mark Tolentino.
Yes, I can answer that.
In 2005, Kingdom of Jesus GIS states that Pastor Kibuloy is the chairman and registered as a non-stock corporation, correct?
I have with me the history of SMNI
Just asking a yes or no question.
about what, Mr. Chair?
Can you please rephrase the question?
In 2005,
Yes or no lang po
Kingdom of Jesus, in your the GIS states that Pastor Kibuloy is the chairman and the corporation is registered as a non-stock corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Then, Mr. Chair, sometime you became a sole corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When did you become a sole corporation?
Okay. In 1990, sorry, small. We are talking of Suarasug Media Corporation or the executive
Executive,
Kingdom of Jesus
Executive
Christ.
Kingdom of Jesus Christ, yes.
So
Well, at first, like I said earlier, 2005, it was Kingdom of Jesus, right? And it was a non-stop. And then,
in 2006, we amend
yes,
the Kingdom of Jesus Christ to the executive pastor of Kingdom of Jesus Christ by amending Article 1 and converting corporation to corporation sole, Mr. Chair.
so 2006, you became a corporation sole.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And during this time, who is the executive pastor of that corporation sole?
Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, Mr. Chair.
As an executive pastor in this corporation sole, by definition of the corporation code, he administers, manages as the trustee, properties of the corporation, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
As the trustee, Pastor Kibuloy had the power to manage the assets of the corporation, meaning he may buy, sell, encumber, lease properties, etc. for the corporation, right?
But still in compliance with
Yes or no
Yeah,
lang po, Mr. Chair?
Attorney, klaro naman po ang it's answer first, yes or no, and if you would like to explain, you can explain.
Yes, Mr. Chair, but can I explain,
Yes.
Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Yes, of course, but
Magsilang po
there is a procedure, not just the pastor will decide. There is a body in respect to the process of changing or with respect to the decision of the church, Mr. Chair.
So the answer is yes.
Yes, Mr.
The answer is
Proceed.
yes. Siya pa rin ang,
Yes, po na sagot.
kahit
Proceed.
the procedure,
Yes,
siya
please.
pa rin, right?
Please.
Okay. So does he have the power to sell, manage, buy properties for beneficiaries
With respect to what year, Mr. Chair?
with his power as the trustee, as the
In what year,
executive
Mr.
pastor?
Chair? Because the executive pastor was already transferred to Marlon Jacobo, Mr. Chair, in 2020. That's why I'm asking, what year, Mr. Chair?
Before the transfer na lang. Sige.
Before the transfer, yes, Mr. Chair.
So you're saying Pastor Kibuloy, before that transfer, has control over the interest, over the properties of the corporation, thus controlling interest, right?
He is the trustee, Mr. Chair. So, subject to
So
the
may controlling
procedure, Mr.
interest
Chair.
po ba, Mr. Chair,
At-
dahil siya yung nagmamanage at lahat?
Klaro lang po natin yung sagot. Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair. With respect to the executive pastor of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Yes, okay. So you mentioned that there was a transfer of the executive pastor.
Yes, in 2020, Mr. Chair.
2020?
Yes.
Are you sure?
In the year 2020.
May amended
Yes, there's an
Articles
amendment.
kayo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
2020 ba yung nakasulat dyan or 2022? Ang amended AOI nyo.
Document.
It says, I also have the document. And
Migs,
the committee has the
Kung
document.
makes, can you please ascertain the date? 20 or is it really 2020?
2022.
I think the committee has the AOI, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
of
okay.
the amended AOI.
Can you please reply? Attorney,
May I do the question, Mr. Chair?
is it 2020 or 2022?
2022 applied but approved in 2023.
If
2020.
you have a copy of
Can you please repeat?
Mr. Chair,
Applied in 2022, approved in 2023.
So hindi 2020. Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Go ahead.
so, Mr. Chair, if I can just direct to the committee na lang, if you have the copy. Yes, can you please read na lang, if he can read, Mr. Chair, the amended articles of incorporation on when the date it was adopted.
Who are you directing this to? To Comsec?
To,
Attorney.
I have with me here, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
yes, can you please, Mr. Chair,
Adopted on December 19, 2022.
so 2022. Okay. And attached there is a transfer, a certificate of appointment.
Yes, Mr.
That's
Chair.
that's the basis, Mr. Chair, for the transfer of the new trustee.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So,
December 19, 2022, signed by Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, appointing Brother Marlon B. Acobo.
so now it's Brother Marlon Ocobo who has the same powers previously of Pastor Kibuloy of
Yes,
the
by
controlling
succession.
interest.
Yes, by succession, Mr. Chair.
Let me direct you to Section 10 of your franchise. The grantee shall not sell, lease, transfer, grant the usufruct of, nor assign this franchise or the rights and privileges acquired thereunder to any person, firm, company, corporation, or other commercial or legal entity, nor merge with any other corporation or entity, nor shall transfer the controlling interest of the grantee simultaneously or contemporaneously to any other person, firm, company, corporation, or entity without the prior approval of the Congress of the Philippines. Are you aware of this provision?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Did you get the prior approval of Congress for this shift of controlling interest in 2022? Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may I be allowed to answer that?
Okay, tag team, the Honorable Rolex.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, Section 10 give us three instances. The first one is not sell, not lease, not transfer, not grant the usufruct of, nor assign this franchise. That's the first instance. Second instance is nor merge. Third instance is
Not transfer controlling interest.
not transfer the
without
controlling
prior-
interest.
Yes.
That's the
And
third instance.
Yes.
Okay, and all of this required the prior approval of Congress.